Welcome back to The Explainer. Okay, today we're tackling what is, without a doubt, the defining security challenge of the AI era. We're talking about prompt injection. It's officially ranked as the absolute #1 risk on the OWASP top 10 for LLM applications. And what's really wild here is that this is rapidly moving from just, a theoretical research paper risk into a daily, active exploitation nightmare for enterprise IT.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. 1. The top AI security threat. 2. What is prompt injection? 3. How the attack actually works. 4. The real-world consequences. And finally, 5. Defense in depth.
All right, Section 1. The top AI security threat.
Picture this. Right now, about 83% of organizations are planning to deploy autonomous AI agents, but they are running headfirst into a massive blind spot, a staggering 84% attack success rate for prompt injection in agent systems with auto-execution capabilities. Think about that for a second. If your AI agent can independently use tools and execute commands, an attacker has an 84% chance of successfully manipulating it. This is exactly why it's the OWASP LLM 01 vulnerability. The stakes literally couldn't be higher.
And here is the really stark reality. No complete fix exists. Seriously, even after applying their absolute best defenses, frontier models from heavyweights like OpenAI, Google, and Anthropic, they all remain vulnerable. There's no magic patch you can just download for this. As we'll see, that makes a defense-in-depth approach the absolute only viable strategy moving forward.
Moving on to Section 2. What is prompt injection? At its core, prompt injection exploits what we call a trust boundary failure. It's a lot like traditional SQL injection, where malicious code gets all mixed up with data in a database query. Large language models have a very similar fundamental flaw. They process your privileged system prompts and external, untrusted user data inside a single context window. And the model? It just gives them all equal weight. It simply cannot architecturally separate your secure, trusted instructions from an attacker's malicious input. It's all just text to the AI.
And this brilliantly illustrates a crucial distinction you absolutely need to understand: prompt injection versus jailbreaking. See, jailbreaking targets the model's safety alignment. It tries to bypass ethical constraints to make the AI generate harmful content, like using the deceptive delight camouflage technique we've seen out there. Prompt injection, on the other hand, targets the application layer and manipulates what the AI actually does, like forcing it to secretly exfiltrate your private business data.
Section 3. How the attack works.
So, how are they getting in? You've basically got two main ways: direct and indirect. Direct injection is when an attacker literally just types an override command right into the chat box. Pretty straightforward. But indirect injection? Wow, that is vastly more dangerous. The malicious instructions are hidden inside an external document, a web page, or even an email. When the AI retrieves that document to, say, summarize it for you, it silently swallows the poison pill. The victim literally never even interacts with the malicious prompt directly.
And man, the attack surface here is expanding so fast. It's way beyond just chat boxes now. You have multimodal attacks hiding instructions inside image pixels. You've got RAG poisoning, where malicious files corrupt the AI's internal knowledge base. And attackers are even compromising integration frameworks like Microsoft's Model Context Protocol to trick AI agents into executing unauthorized tools.
Security researchers have actually mapped this out into what they call a promptware kill chain. It's basically the anatomy of a heist. Here's the first half. An attacker breaches the trust boundary through that initial injection. They escalate their privileges by bypassing safety alignments. And then they conduct reconnaissance to map out the system prompts and the environment they've just hacked into.
Then we hit the second half of the kill chain. The attacker establishes persistence, sets up communication, moves laterally, and finally executes their real goal: data theft or sabotage. And the stats on this are pretty alarming. Lateral movement in these attacks went from literally 0 recorded incidents in 2023 to 8 out of 21 multi-stage attacks by 2026. This stuff is actively spreading from agent to agent.
All right, Section 4, the real-world consequences.
I cannot stress this enough. This is not a theoretical exercise. We are seeing critical security flaws with maximum CVSS severity scores above 9.0. Take the Echo leak vulnerability that allowed zero-click silent data exfiltration in Microsoft 365 Copilot, just from the user receiving a crafted email.
or the clean/open claw supply chain attack that compromised 4,000 developer machines just by injecting prompts into issue triage workflows. So the crucial point is this. If you connect an AI to your data and tools, attackers are already actively finding ways to exploit it.
Because of this, the industry is being forced to make some really hard choices. On February 13, 2026, OpenAI launched an unprecedented lockdown node, publicly acknowledging that browser-based prompt injection may actually never be fully patched. Defending against this threat requires fundamental architectural trade-offs that, unfortunately, end up reducing the overall functionality of the AI.
Finally, Section 5, Defense in Depth.
So here's your gold standard 6-layer defense framework. You start by validating and sanitizing inputs and enforcing a strict instruction hierarchy. You absolutely must apply the principle of least privilege to what tools your AI can access. Then you validate the outputs, constantly monitor for anomalies, and regularly red team the system. The core philosophy here is vital. You have to just assume the initial injection is eventually going to succeed. Your real goal is to break the kill chain at the later stages.
Now, there are some pretty brilliant technical tools emerging to help out with this. Microsoft's AI prompt shields, for example, use advanced machine learning algorithms to segregate external context from your system instructions. They use techniques like spotlighting to make valid inputs physically stand out to the model, and data marking to explicitly highlight the boundary between trusted and untrusted data.
But at the end of the day, classic security hygiene is still your absolute best baseline defense. You need a human in the loop for any high-risk action. Please do not let the AI delete files or send emails entirely on its own. And you must secure your AI supply chain. Treat your foundation models, your embeddings, and integration tools like MCP exactly as you would any other critical software dependency.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that this represents a massive paradigm shift for the industry, because you just cannot prevent initial access. With 100% reliability, security teams absolutely must deploy AI security posture management. You have to invest in detecting the downstream behaviors, things like lateral movement and data exfiltration. If you can catch the AI acting weirdly, you can stop the attack before the blast radius expands and the data actually leaves your network.
And of course, you need an operational response playbook ready to go. The second an anomaly is identified, you contain the AI, analyze the logs, remediate the gap, and harden your defenses. And look closely at Step 5, Report for Compliance. This is critical right now. Deadlines like the EU AI Act of August 2026 and emerging NIST frameworks make rapid incident response and robust testing legally mandatory. You really cannot afford to wait on this.
Which leaves us with this final kind of provocative thought. As we all rush to deploy AI agents that autonomously read our emails, search the web, and execute tools on our behalf, how secure is the untrusted data they are silently ingesting right now? I highly encourage you to go audit your own generative AI trust boundaries today. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Stay secure out there and keep learning.